right, when you look at the Steelers right now, we know who their quarterback is: Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. Right now, this is how I think this season could play out. Do I think there's a definite impact on if you bring Rodgers in, and does the schedule and does the season go differently with Rodgers? Yeah, I really do think it does go differently. Week 1, win. Week 2, win. Week 3, win. Like, I'm not sleeping on Will Howard. I'm not sleeping on Mason Rudolph. Like, I still do think the Steelers will find ways to win these games. Now, against the Vikings over there, no. Okay, to this point, 3-1. We'll see. Like, we've seen the Steelers have, like, start out strong or have a mediocre first half, but then have a strong second half in the season. And if you look at it, this first slate of games doesn't look too tough. I think it's funny how a lot of people are like, oh, they're going 0 and... No, they're not. No, they're not. Look. Now, I will say these Bengal games are going to be a big one. At home against Packers, yeah. Because why? Because Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing in this game. No, but if... I don't know if Jordan Love can come into Heinz Field. Well, pardon me. But to have a Sunday night football game in the Steel City like this one's going to be a good one. At home against Indianapolis, I can see them winning that. On the road against the Chargers, probably not. At home against the Bengals, yes. On the road against the Bears, yeah, I can see them beating the Bears. Against the Bills, no. On the road against the Ravens, no. At home against the Dolphins, yes. Nope. Yep. Nope. So, look at that. And this is how the Steelers are now. Without Aaron Rodgers, without, George Pickens, this is just DK Metcalf with Warren in the backfield. This is Will Howard. This is TJ Watt. This is how I see the Steelers doing this year. Like, everybody, we always joke, we write them off as, oh, they're going to find a way to go 9-8 and, lose in the first round. 10-7 will probably get them a 7 or a 6 seed in the playoffs. And there's no need to debate on if they're, will they beat the Lions? No, probably not. Or the Bills? Nah, probably not. But I will say, if you do have Rodgers on board, maybe this Bills game gets a little bit bigger and this turns into a win. Or maybe they can split 1-1. Because I know the Ravens have been able, like the Steelers, whoever the hell their quarterback is, the Steelers have been able to find ways to contain Lamar Jackson. They have, just because the Steelers defense is so good. So I could see this also being split 1-1. We'll see how Week 18 fares out, because to this point, I think the Steelers will definitely be fighting for a playoff spot. Do I think the Ravens will be? No, so we can probably move this one to here where, the Ravens backups, lose to the Steelers starters because they're fighting for a playoff spot. So we just went 10-7 to 11-6. So middle of the pack team. We'll just see how it fares out. But, I still think the Steelers, they're going to find ways to win games. And this schedule's pretty favorable. Look at the games outside of divisional play. Jets, they can beat the Jets. They can beat the Seahawks. They can beat the Patriots. They could beat the Colts. They could beat the Dolphins. The harder ones, the Bills, the Lions, the Chargers, like we'll see how those ones go. But we know the North in the AFC is going to be the toughest division. You got to play the Bengals and the Ravens twice a year. So we'll just see how it fares out. But right now, as I'm sitting on this, this is their schedule, and this is what I have. With the Browns, I think, how do we, oh yeah, we're going this way. Okay, not this way. I think with the Browns, they got a lot of stuff that's very interesting this season. I still think Chubb is a free agent. You have the quarterback room. You got 5 QBs. We'll figure out what's going on there. You bring in Judkins. You bring, what other weapons? You got Myles Garrett, who decided to sign an extension. This Browns team, I think it's hard to predict where they will be, considering the fact that, like, with Kevin Stefanski a couple years back when they had Joe Flacco, they went to the playoffs, and Flacco just turned back the clock, and it's like, whoa, maybe he is clutch. Now, We saw how that ended in Houston against the Texans in the playoffs. I will say, though, if the Browns do make a playoff push, it's because Joe Flacco's going to have to turn back the clock. But we'll just see. Like, week 1 against the Bengals, probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. Home game against... Okay, you lose 4 in a row. Yeah, I can see them getting a win against the Vikings because look at this. These are some tough games. Now, whoa, hello, everybody go back to where you were. Now, we know the Bengals start off slow, so we could maybe have this one be a win where it's like, holy shit, look at that, the Browns, they're not supposed to beat the Bengals, and they do. Now, away on the road against the Steelers, probably not. But at home against the Dolphins, I can see them beating the Dolphins. I can see them beating the Patriots. Now, here's where things get fun and things get interesting. Look at this. They're coming on a 3-game win streak, and they're welcoming the Ravens at home. I think this might be a Sunday night football game too, because look at the start time. But we'll see where the Ravens are at to this point, because I'm going to tell you this. I think the Browns can beat the Raiders. Do I think they can beat the 49ers? Probably not. But I definitely think they can beat the Titans. We'll revisit this one on the Bears. But look at how this middle third went with this slate of games from week 7 to week 12. At home against the Ravens. We'll see where they're at. I'll put it as a soft loss. Away against the Bears, again, we'll have to see where Chicago is up until this point. But, I mean, with the talent that the Browns have, I could see them beating the Bears. But again, it's tough. I think Williams might have a breakout year this year. Home against the Bills, no way. But this will probably be that game where it's like, okay, the Browns ain't winning this one, and they win it on a field goal. Because didn't the Browns beat... When the 49ers were undefeated, didn't the Browns beat the 49ers a couple years back or something like that? So then we have our situation where we're coming to the final 2 games. 6 and 9. Just for fun, I think they can beat the Steelers. No. Whoops. They'll probably lose this game, but then they'll win this game. If Joe Flacco is a QB and they have that shot, kind of like they did a couple years back, where they could make a push to the playoffs. This is where it starts. It starts in week 14 where they do win out all of these. Because there's parts of me with just it being a divisional rival game. Steelers are coming in. Maybe Rodgers is on the team to this point where it's like, yeah, of course, Steelers got to win this to get to the playoffs, and like the Browns just find a way. Rodgers versus Flacco, and the Browns get the best of Pittsburgh. We'll just have to see, though. But in total, let's count this up. 1, 2, 3, 7 and 10. I mean, it's a lot to expect the Browns to take over this division and win 10, 11 plus games. Just because I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Browns are not where the Bengals are. Browns are not where the Ravens are. With the Cincinnati Bengals, I think it's really easy to say, okay, this team's going to win a lot of games. But the truth is, we know Cincinnati starts out really bad. Well, they're not going to lead. They're not going to lose to Cleveland. No way. They're not going to lose to Jacksonville. Now I can see them losing to Minnesota, and I can see them losing to Denver. Okay, I can realistically see those games because again, the Bengals are a weird team where they could start 0-4, 0-5, but then after week 6, 7, they then start to turn it on. But then you're also looking at other factors of Trey Hendrickson's not going to play this season until they fix the contract. And you also had Sam Hubbard retire this offseason. The defense was a lot of they were a key component on why they lost a lot of games. And so when I'm looking at this schedule and I'm looking, at this team as a whole, we know what the offense is going to give you. What is the defense going to give you? Now, at home against the Lions, dude, I want to say that they can beat Detroit at home. This could be a damn good game. This might be a Super Bowl type of game where it could be a preview, but Lions come to town. Now, Here's what I think happens. They lose 3 straight. After starting 2-0, they lose 3 straight. And then this is when they whip their shit back into gear. Boom. Boom. Okay. So after starting 2-0, losing 3 straight, they finish up the first half of the year with a record of, let's just throw the Bears in there too, because their bye week is right here. Terrible spot to have a bye week. You want it oh my hell, look at that slate of games. Son of a bitch. That is, dude, look at that. That is oh my gosh. Okay, we'll get there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-3. Okay. At Pittsburgh, I'll be honest, no, I don't think they're going to beat Pittsburgh. Not at Pittsburgh. It'll be one of those weird games where it's like, how'd you lose this game? Burrow threw for 5. Oh, yeah, the defense. But New England at home, I can see them winning that. Now, at Baltimore, no. At Buffalo, no. But at home against Baltimore, yes. And again, dude, this is the toughest 3-game stretch. I want to say out of the whole season. That is bad. Like, I'll say this. Whoever made the skip, we couldn't move one of the Ravens game, this one, because I get the Thanksgiving one. We couldn't move this one over here. We couldn't move this one, whatever. At Miami, I think they could beat Miami. I think they could also beat the Cardinals. And everybody's playing in this game because they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. They're going to win that game. So 11-6. 11-6. Is that too much to ask? It might be. But I think the Bengals, we know what we're going to get on offense. And then the other thing too with how they start tough. Could I see them losing the first handful of games? Yes, very much I could. So that's why, as easy as it is to say, oh yeah, they beat Minnesota, they beat Denver, they beat Cleveland, we know that the Bengals have a tough start to the season. So that's why I'm just throwing out the losses already. I think this team can win over, if not, 11 games. Get to the postseason. I don't know if they win the division. I'm leaning towards it going to I was about to say the Ravens. It's not going to the Ravens. It's going to the Bengals. I definitely think Joe Burrow's, he's got to have a bounce back year, man. Statistically, he had an MVP type season, and Jamar Chase was a Triple Crown winner. That work's going to pay off. It's just got to. Like, the defense is going to buckle down. They're going to figure some shit out. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they are. So that's my prediction. All right, now with the Ravens, with Baltimore, look, their first 2 games are the hardest. Oh, wait, this is week 4. I'm like, look, their first 2. No. I can see them. Yep. This one's going to be a tough one. Oh, wait. Actually, hold on. I didn't know purple was away. I thought purple was home. Here's the thing. Whether they win or lose this game, it doesn't matter, because the truth is they still got 16 more games to play after this. Great opening, I will say. It was a great first game to start off the season. But, yeah, they're going to bounce back. Now, at Kansas City, this is going to be a damn big game. This could potentially be an AFC Championship game matchup. I think they get revenge. I think they do. I think they come into town. I think they smack the Chiefs around for a little bit and then call it a day. And then look at this. After week 4, they're 3-1. Sitting kind of on top of the AFC. We'll just see how other seedings play out. I can see them beating the Texans. I can see them beating the Rams. I can see them kicking the bye week's ass. I'm teasing. But I can see them beating the Bears. Now, to this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-1. I don't know. When we look here, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, 10-1, 11-1. This isn't going to happen. The Ravens will lose some games, so let's be realistic here. This week 9 at Miami, I think Miami might be able to catch them on a bad night. I really do. Now Sunday against the Vikings, come on. I think they can win that one. The one against the Browns, I think they can beat the Browns. Now against the Jets, I think they can beat the Jets. Now, Thanksgiving night, I think this is anybody's game. I really do think anybody can win this one, just because when the Bengals and the Ravens get together, it's always a close game. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. I would lean towards, I'm going to lean towards the Ravens, but we'll have to see how both teams are doing up until this point. Like, again, if the Ravens are coming off of, 1, 2, 3 since week 1, and when they meet again in week 13, 12 wins in a row, they're not going to beat the Bengals. They're going to fall, considering, like, let's say Bengals are coming off of a 3-game losing streak. You don't think the Bengals are going to come into town and whoop them and, get a win after losing 3 straight on Thanksgiving night, trying to find motivation to get back into the season and get back into the playoff push? Like, there's no way. There's no way the Ravens lose the first game, win out, but well, for this one just in particular, we'll have to see how both teams are up until this point. I do think they can beat the Steelers at home. At Cincinnati, no. I think these are going to be split. The question is, do they win it here or do they win it here? Because I think it's going to be 1-1. I do think they're going to be the Patriots. I do think they're going to be the Packers. And now by this point in the season, they have 3 losses. They will be resting starters. I think they'll lose to the Steelers on the road. But that's my thoughts and that's my predictions on this Ravens team. This Ravens team is probably going to win the division. They're going to get deep into the playoffs. They're going to get to the divisional round, maybe even the AFC Championship game again. I don't think there's too much to panic on the Ravens. Like, I still think, Lamar's going to have a good year. He's going to have MVP-type stats. Flowers is going to play well. Andrews is going to play well. The defense, it's going to be Henry. I didn't even mention Henry. I think Henry's going to have a big year. I think the Ravens are going to bounce back again and still be a contender, kind of like how we've seen them be a contender for the past couple seasons. Just like the 49ers, just like the Eagles. I think we shouldn't overreact too much, because it's like, oh, wow, you lost this one, or oh, wow, you lost one of these games. Oh, you lost to the Patriots.